Don't go changing. You mean everything to me. And hope you shine a light.
Hope means hanging on and not giving up, even when you feel you have no strength left, because there just has to be more than the darkness that you're feeling at the present time.
I think what hope means to me is just the fact that, like, my father will never abandon me. Like, when I'm going through the darkest times in my life, I find hope there, because that's when I'm the most vulnerable, and that's when I'm lonely, and that's when God can find me through my broken pieces and my brokenness and my dark times. That's when I find hope, and that's what hope is to me, just finding the light through the darkness.
Personally, what hope means to me is definitely a joy and a peace in the midst of something that, if you were looking with an earthly eye, wouldn't make sense in the situation that you find yourself in. So personally, for me growing up, I had some really difficult family traumas happen, and personally for me, that I found it very hard at that time of my life to find hope, because what had happened was my mum and my dad had split up when I was about 8 years old, and there's something about separation that really strips you from your joy, even if you're young. It's hard to understand why something that you thought was so beautiful, like your parents made you, you know, and you were birthed out of love, could be separated and, you know, just kind of destroy your idea of joy and your idea of what love should be. And that violent kind of assault on my life definitely drew me into a place where I didn't understand what hope was, and I didn't have hope in God. And as I grew up, I ended up realizing that hope is so much more than a situation. Hope is the ability to see that there is going to be a good outcome, and this isn't the end of the story. That even though this situation right now seems really dark and seems sometimes really crappy, that it's not the end, and that God's going to have the final say, and that at the right time, even though, you know, you might go through a whole lot of crap, at the right time God will vindicate you, and He's going to come through for you. And that's personally kind of what it means to me. And what my experience has been is that hope is beyond situations. It's a hope of not what's going on around you, but in who God is and who His character is. So I guess that for me is what hope means.
So, what hope means to me is a sense of excitement and determination and want, and it's usually something based out of some sort of goodness and eagerness to be better, to have something be better for you, or to be better for something else. Be better for yourself, pretty much. That's what I view as hope.
I feel that hope is a belief system, and what you choose to believe in becomes your hope.
Hope means to me, it's that idea of something better is to come, that it's more of an assurance that in the future it'll just get better. It's not wondering if it'll get better or like wishing it'll get better. It's like, you know in your heart that in the future it will get better. And to me, that's what hope is.
Hope to me is what the future is going to be. You know, at the end of the day, you can sit there and you can dream and etc., but you still have to have hope that those things will come true. Otherwise, you know, you got to be optimistic about the situation, and essentially optimism is hope. So that's what hope means to me.
Okay, hope for me, it means it's the starting of something. So you got to have an idea of something, like a plan to do something that you want that'll make you feel happy, you know, something that makes you have a purpose. And if you don't have that hope, you'll just be wandering around, just lost. So you have to start with something that guides you, and ultimately that will help you achieve that hope that you once saw when you first started off?
What does hope mean to me? Hope is this idea, not more or less of an idea, but rather a feeling. It's not something that you really can explain through words. It's just a sense of the universe is working. Hope isn't really something that a certain thing of events has to happen. It's just more or less that you know it's there, and it's something that's inside of every one of us. Whether it's just hoping for this day to be good, or whether it's hoping for you to get that job, or something along those lines. Hope is this ideal that the universe is doing what it's doing to the best of its capabilities. It's kind of hard to describe, but you never really grasp it until you're feeling it. And I think that's the beautiful thing about it, is hope isn't something that is only given to the select few people. It's given to everybody.
All right, so I think a lot of times people think of hope as this, like, I sure hope this is going to happen. Like, it's not for sure. Like, it's distant. I want something to happen, but I don't know. But I think hope, my understanding of hope is that it is sure. Like, what I understand hope to be is like, it's something I'm looking forward to that I know will happen. And so instead of being confused or unsettled, I have a confidence in what will happen because I have hope.
Hope to me means to fight until your ultimate goal. And for me, it's like a little light that remains in the end, that reminds you, it's a reminder of strength and of keep on going. And and I think there is a solution of whatever I'm struggling with. It's just a matter of time, and it's just a matter of being patient if the situation doesn't depend on you to change. So eventually it will get over.
I think just the fact that knowing how many people fail me in my life, that God will never fail me, and that I can count on Him for like anything. So I think that like no matter like what happens in my life, like knowing that I have God like through anything is just like kind of like how I find my hope, because when I'm down and when I'm like thinking like, oh, I can't do this, or oh, like nothing's gonna get better, then like I think like, oh, like it's okay, because like I know who holds tomorrow, and I know that like God is in control. So like I find hope through Jesus.
Things that give me hope is humanity. I feel like we live in a really dark world a lot of our times. We see a lot of dark things from the moment we're born to the moment we die. Happiness is really something that is instilled in us, but whenever I see it, that's that feeling of hope. It's this idea that when I walk down the street and I see someone helping another person, I still have hope that we're going in the right place. It's too easy to be pessimistic in these days, but the things that give me hope are my family, my friends, and even the people that I don't know, the people that I'll see on the street. As a photographer, whenever I do photos, whether it's just going on the street and taking photos of random things, I'm seeing life, and that's the beautiful thing. It's like, we always talk about how dark the world is and how much death there is or how much despair there is, but we rarely ever talk about the life. And as a photographer, getting able to document that life is a beautiful thing, and that just gives me hope in what I do. It's like I share the moments that no one really seems to want to talk about, but everyone needs to hear.
My hope is in knowing that today isn't all there is, that there's more to come after this, that in the future there's opportunity for change, there's opportunity for things to just become something new and to become something better, and that if something is going wrong now, that knowing that it doesn't have to be like that for forever, that's where I find a lot of my hope is, knowing that my present circumstances aren't all there is, that there's more than that. So oftentimes if I don't feel very hopeful, I can just look ahead and look to the future, knowing that there's opportunity for change.
What gives me hope is the idea of every situation will eventually be over and it will eventually be solved. And also that everything in life, either is good or bad, it will not last forever. Also, what gives me hope is to be grateful for all the things you already have, and have hope in those things that are not necessary things. Maybe relationships, or I don't know. Yeah.
Well, it's very bland, but to prove people wrong, because I've had a lot of people who don't believe in the things that I feel suit my life, and I do it because I want to prove them all wrong.
Okay, so what personally gives me hope is actually a lot of different things. It's when I look at, or when I meet people that are kind to one another, that gives me hope for those two people and for the future of mankind or whatever. But also when I see art and artistry, and I'll kind of describe it in a story. Whenever I see, especially for kids and stuff like that, whenever I see two kids that don't even know each other at all, but are very courteous and kind to one another, regardless of, again, not knowing who they are, and that they become friends through whatever action is happening, that gives me hope. Or a sense of whenever I can see the fact that, most recently with the whole transgender thing that's happening out there right now, the fact that a lot of people, a lot of young kids, and even some adults are very accepting of these things, and are tackling issues that have been very quiet for so long. And the fact that they're being brought about and things are happening to make people feel good about themselves, that also brings me hope. So that's kind of what hope is to me. It's the fact that we collectively are becoming better as a society and becoming more and accepting people for who they are. That also brings me hope. So that's what hope is to me, I guess. So that's what gives me hope.
I would say that in the end, the only thing that is going to change any aspect of your life is yourself. And the sooner you understand that, you realize that you're going to be the only person that changes your life. So if there's something that you're not happy about and that you don't like and you're not fond of, or that was given to you, no one else is going to change that but yourself. And as soon as you take responsibility for your own life and your own actions and the past that you've made, I feel that you can change anything.
Okay, so if I have any words for you, what I would like to say is that ultimately just be kind to one another. If we can be accepting of each person as an individual, then we will not only learn a lot about themselves, about them, we'll also learn a lot about ourselves. And I feel like that's going to make us as a society way better than where we are now. Like progression and everything. So that's what I would want to say. Is just be kind to one another, embrace one another, and push each other to be the best that you can be for yourself and for others.
So my message to anyone needing a few words of hope or a few encouraging words that things will get better is two things. One, happiness is not a limited resource. It isn't something that can be drained out of this world. Happiness and love and compassion, whether it may seem like it's not there at times, somewhere across this world it is there. And the second one is you're made of the most beautiful things in the world. The stars, the sun, the earth, and our ground. You're made of it. Whether you want to talk about it scientifically, philosophically, or just theologically, you are the beauty of what it is to be alive. You won the lottery to be here, and every single day you win the lottery of waking up. It may seem difficult at times. It may seem like the sun isn't shining. When you walk outside, maybe those clouds are just blocking out what's above it. Just like the things in your life, those clouds move, those feelings move, and the sun will always come back out. So don't give up. Don't give up that feeling in your gut that things will get okay at some point. It's okay not to be okay. It's never okay not to try to be okay.
You are not alone. No matter how alone you feel, there is someone out there who will be blessed by you, and one day you will learn just how loved you truly are. Asking for help is not weak.
Work for what motivates you in life, for what makes you happy, and for what makes you feel alive. And last but not least, remember that you are loved. Around you, your people around you love you, and even if they don't show it to you directly, maybe you'll have to pay attention on the little things they do for you.
Personally, what I would say to anyone who's really struggling with depression or anxiety at the moment, I mean, a bit about my story, but someone very close to me struggled with this for a very long time, and I've personally been through seasons, and we all go through seasons where we have to battle this, because I don't think that we were actually created to live amongst the conditions of this world, and in that actually can at times really strip us from our joy and strip us from our happiness. But what I would say to you is literally, don't give up. Like, it's so easy to be consumed by what's happening around us and be completely absorbed in the pain that we're suffering, and it's so hard to face that. But we have to find a way of facing these emotions with a strength and with a knowledge that there is going to be a greater day. And if I was to say anything to you, like right now, even though you might be feeling like you're living in the midst of hell, like your life isn't going to finish in a tragedy. If you trust God and you rely on Him, He's going to pull you right through it. He's going to restore hope to you, and He's going to restore, He will restore your life. And also, I think that we forget sometimes what an honor it is to be actually on this earth, that there is so much need around us and so much heartbreak. And if we can really just push through, you will see a greater day. Like, if you pray to God to restore your heart and to restore who you are, God will always do that, believe me. Like, I've seen it time and time again where I felt hopeless and I felt like there was never going to be a brighter day in my life. God pulled me up, and He kept on doing it, and He kept on doing it, and He kept on doing it. And I just think, keep your hope alive and keep your faith alive, and continue to dream, continue to believe that good things can happen to you, because I promise you they will.
If I were to give any words of hope, it would be that you have to be patient. That it's not always right now that we get things, that sometimes we have to wait a little bit, but it's in that waiting that we get the best possible outcome, I find. So yeah, patience.
Don't give up. I think that's my biggest words of hope. just never give up, never quit, never stop just because you're feeling doubt or guilt or whatever is stopping you from doing it, but just never give up.
One thing that, or some things that make me keep hope, I'd probably have to say is that there will always be those negative moments, like regardless, like there will always be those times when you just feel like nothing is going your way, and just everything just feels so just dead. But there's always change. You can change anything you want. People always say, you know, new year, or whatever, but that doesn't mean anything. Each day can be your new year. Time is just a conception just made up by people. You can start changing whenever you want. And hope is just knowing that everything will eventually change. Everything changes. Nothing ever stays the same. That's how I would say.